Koepke, he's got a very traditional Band Company deck that him and the members of Team Card Hoarder are playing, but for Jack Fogle, his is very different, as you're going to find Elder Deep Fiend and Foul Emissary here. Now, we saw Jack at the beginning of day number 1. He lost to Jeff Hoagland, but he's done a lot of winning since then. He is 10-2, just like Devin. Evolving Wilds there for Devin to start. For Jack, there's a copy of A Lumbering Falls. He also has a Yavimaya Coast, and now here's a Sylvan Advocate.
Sylvan Advocate, just best 2-drop in the format, I guess.
I think there's an argument for it being contextually Standard's best card.
Yeah. It's really good, I'll tell you what.
There's no matchup where it's bad. I'm pretty sure no one sides it out ever. The floor on the card is very high. The ceiling is very high. It's a single color card, so it's easy to play all over the place. Other cards may be more oppressive. They may more define what cards you can and can't play. Reflector Mage, definitely very high on that list, but in terms of representation, success, and power level in the context of Standard's most common matchups, I think it might be Sylvan Advocate.
Advocate going to come across for 2 here. You saw Koepke play a Duskwatch Recruiter after searching up a forest with the Evolving Wilds, so he's got 2 colors of mana. We'll see if he's able to continue to play lands and if his colors will or will not be a problem.
Although Sylvan Advocate also has some things to do with representation. Why do we not see a lot of mono-red decks, even though there's a lot of powerful mono-red cards? Largely Sylvan Advocate.
Here's a Prairie Stream, and now a Duskwatch Recruiter. Time to draw. It's a Canopy Vista, which will enter the battlefield untapped, and now here is Thalia. And we have seen this card play a pretty big role in things in the mirror. More so on the play than on the draw, but still quite a nice card to have.
Great to have on curve. It's disruptive, it's sized to attack, and it really takes some sting out of the mid-combat collected companies on the other side of the table.
Canopy Vista enters the battlefield tapped. That Lambhole Pacifist will also enter the battlefield tapped because of the Thalia. Now we head back Koepke's way. Number 30 on our SCG Tour Player of the Year leaderboard.
Conspicuously without blue mana right now.
Mm-hmm. You see Reflector Mage in his hand. He's going to play a basic forest. All he can do is pass the turn back. And this might actually be one of those instances where he is passing the turn back with nothing to do.
Yep.
It was kind of a half-hearted pass the turn back, but this might be realistically, I have all blue cards in my hand, and I can't cast any of them.
We all know the 4-mana sigh from collected company players.
Yes.
Second Thought's the original, your turn. But I think Koepke might actually have nothing to do right now.
A lot of werewolves transformed here on Jack Fogle's upkeep.
It's nighttime.
Indeed it is.
And it is a very loud representation of collected company, or at least something like Dramoka's Command, because Koepke did have the opportunity there to activate his Duskwatch Recruiter and elected not to.
Mm-hmm.
So he is signaling that he has something to cast.
Canopy Vista passed the turn back. Fogle has no interest in attacking. There's Archangel Avacyn. Well, it's not collected company. It actually might just be a whole lot better. Now again, he's able to cast Archangel Avacyn because of the Krowlin Horde Howler. I had to think about how to say it every time.
Yeah.
I always want to call it Krowlin Howler Horde. That's the Krowlin Horde Howler. Blue man off the top there for Koepke. It's a Prairie Stream. Here comes Archangel Avacyn. Fogle's going to take 4. Down to 16. What's kind of interesting about this, right now Jack Fogle has a copy of Elder Deep Fiend in hand. I think he's just trying to figure out when's the best time to play it. Reflector Mage. See what he wants to target. Going to go after the Sylvan Advocate. Bouncing a Werewolf doesn't really do very much. You can just replay it the next turn.
Yep. And I think, honestly, Koepke's happier with it as a Howler than as a Dustwatch Recruiter right now.
Oh, that's kind of awesome. It costs 7, not 6 right now because of the Howler.
What a deal.
Yeah. And it's actually really important because, now the Advocate use that to sacrifice and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, this is our first time seeing Elder Deep Fiend do its thing, and Koepke got ahead on the battlefield, looked like pretty comfortably in control. He's going to take a huge hit this turn.
Legacy Classic competitors, your pairings are available online, pairings.starcitygames.com.
Fogle can attack for 12 here.
Yeah, that's a huge swing.
Once again, Legacy Classic competitors, your pairings
Koepke was looking pretty safe.
And he's got another Elder Deep Fiend in hand.
Unfortunately, a bit of a nombo with Werewolves.
You can sack the other Deep Fiend.
Sure, you can go off that
Yeah.
way, but, I want to keep my 5-power guy ideally.
Let's beat down a clock. So Koepke's going to take 12 foot on to 6.
Magic players, this is the last call.
There's an island.
For today's Modern Challenge.
Yeah, Koepke went from already ahead on the battlefield with Avacyn and casting a Reflector Mage to maybe just dead.
Yeah. Quite the swing. Here's a Sylvan Advocate. And there's a battlefield tapped because of Thalia. And pass. I think what Jack's trying to do here is he's trying to really conceal the fact that he has Elder Deep Fiend in hand. Koepke will draw its Plains. He has Reflector Mage in hand. But you see his hand is all lands outside of this Reflector Mage that he's about to put on the stack.
I think it's going to be very hard for Koepke to defend himself from getting killed here.
Mm-hmm. I think he's trying to figure out how he's supposed to even do this.
Maybe Elder Deep Fiend is the secret to breaking the mirror open. I mean, this is the type of game where the game looked like it was kind of getting bogged down, and then it was a play to a trump. It sort of was taking on that sort of tone. And it went from that to Koepke may just die inside of 2 turns casting Reflector Mages of back-to-back turns.
Yeah. And both their boards are all gummed up.
Right.
And that's a way to kind of break it through. Here's Reflector Mage.
You have 15 minutes. You may begin.
See Fogle looking over the battlefield here. Yep. Says, I'm going to play Elder Deep Fiend. Tap those 4. You can have your Reflector Mage back on defense, and I'm going to try to kill you. Yeah. Koepke's got lands. I think he's about to show him off, and that is going to do it. Jack Fogle's going to win this match over Devin Koepke 2-1. Bant Company with a little bit of a twist, thanks to Elder Deep Fiend, will take care of the more traditionalized Bant Company deck. And Fogle now moves on to 11-2, and we might have to have a little sit-down convo with him because Elder Deep Fiend looked real good there.
I mean, we've been watching, of course, a ton of Bant Company mirror matches over the weekend, and we occasionally see the beatdown games where someone kind of gets ahead early on and is able to squeeze out the last couple points of damage. When the game doesn't look like that, it usually grinds down to a halt, and it's the first person to produce a large flyer or to accrue a ton of card advantage and just kind of overwhelm someone. That's the person who ends up winning the game.